Hello and welcome to the STUBZCAST. The STUBZCAST. Oh, sorry about that. I messed it up. I haven't done this in a while. Welcome to the STUBZCAST. The STUBZCAST, the Content Creator Hub podcast, where I, Stubz Gaming, have conversations with interesting individuals and anyone who's interested in talking in all forms of content creation, whether that be websites, videos, etc. Basically, anything to do with content creation in that field. Hopefully, some people can get something out of it, educate people. But it's a fun conversation to see where content creators started out and how they got things going. This week, I've got ASA from GameOnDaily.com. How are you, ASA, doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for the
I messed
invitation
that
and the
up.
chance to have a little chat. That's all
Yeah,
good.
it's fun. It's been a while since I've done the intro. Like you said, I used to do midweek gaming. It's been a while. We'll mess that up a little bit, but well, people used to be messing stuff up.
Yeah, and everybody does.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, how did you get into? How did you get into gaming as such?
It was quite recently, actually, being the youngster that I am. No, it's a long time ago. It was back in the days of the NES and the Mega Drive.
Yes,
so
this is what
when
I
I
love
was
to hear. This is.
yeah, when I was really small, we had like a family Atari ST that I barely got a look in. It was in the parents' bedroom and it was very controlled, but I played a couple of things on that. But the first thing that really pulled me in was there was a little adventure playground, a public space for children with all of this stuff to climb and slide down and all the rest of it. And there was a Nintendo and a Mega Drive in a little back room, so I ignored everything outdoors and just got besotted with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and the likes.
Very good. Very good, that is.
And yeah, long story from there to where we are today. But
yeah, I'm a big Sega Mega Drive fan, or if any of our American friends are listening, the Sega Genesis. They had to call it something else. They did. So, were you when you were growing up, in that era? Were you like a Sega fan, or when you go, were you a Sega guy, or were you a Nintendo guy, or a PlayStation guy? What were you? Because I don't think you probably at that age you probably weren't the multi-platform gamer you are now. Or am I wrong?
I wasn't. I never had the hostility and the kind of fire that other people had with console warring in the playground that you hear about with their Nintendo and Sega and all the rest of it. I never really experienced that. For me, it was always like chances to play on both are great. This place where I went, this adventure playground had a Mega Drive and a NES. So there's a generational difference there from introduction because the NES was side by side with the Master System, not the Genesis Mega Drive. And you had Mario 3 and you had Sonic 2, and Sonic was the one that won my attention. So I didn't have all of the consoles at home. I had the Sega line of consoles versus the Nintendo ones, but people in my street would have Nintendo, and rather than tell them like, I hate your Nintendo console, I'd be like, can I play on your Nintendo? And then we can play on my Mega Drive. And it was more like that. It was very amicable. So I've kind of always been multi-platform and non-confrontational on the console war front.
No, that's really good to hear. That is, it's. I just wish Sega were what they used to be.
Their Super Game Initiative is terrifying. Like it hurts when you remember their past and all the good times. Wow. To see them selling title screen animations and letterbox backgrounds and like, oh no, what's the Super Game to do to my cherished memories? How are you going to piecemeal sell them?
I just have to I just ignore it. I just have to ignore it. I do. Think of the memories, Dreamcast, Mega Drive. Yeah. Yeah, Boldman Gamer, I see you. Yeah, Asa just saying, if you missed it, that he was first playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Mega Drive. He does not like Sonic, by the way. He hates him.
He's a good friend. That's fair enough. Like you can look at Sonic now and it's hard to find anything. People like the movies, but it's hard to find any games that are particularly good since the Dreamcast went away. But
yeah. So, a couple of shout outs. Welcome to VJ. Welcome to Baldman Gamer. Welcome to Pinky of Legend. And I'm on Ghost McGonads. Am I saying that wrong?
McGonads.
ASA. McGonads.
Ghost
Sorry
McGonads,
about that. I apologise. So yes, if you go like retro wise, what would you say would have been your favourite like game back in the day? Do you have a particular, or have you got just like a few?
See that for me, there's a big tie in there. If you just ask the open question that people always ask, and I still don't have an answer for, you say, "What's your favourite game ever?" I count the retro ones in that conversation, and I've got a few that I adored playing. I don't count any of the Sonic games in there, despite it being my first, and despite like having good memories of Sonic and Sonic Adventure. But I have Panzer Dragoon Saga is very high on my list. Shining Force 3, if you're familiar with that, which was a challenging one. These are both Saturn era games that they're all pretty valuable now because they were pretty hard to get. But Panzer Dragoon Saga, you might have heard of the Panzer Dragoon series.
I've heard of that. That one, is that the one that's like £200 or £300 to buy now?
Saga is expensive because it came out as the Saturn was like already discontinued, so they didn't make many of it, and it was a phenomenal game. So I really like that one. And yeah, like I say, Shining Force was another one. It was split into 3 games, and only one of them came out in this country. Only one of them came out in America as well. The other 2 were only available in Japanese. They never made it over. And I've always had a bit of a thing for Quake 3 on the PC as well. And I love my MMORPGs. So a weird history of games. Some you wouldn't have heard of, and some you would. But
yeah, it's a nice variety of games. Because were you even playing? Because I know you're quite a PC gamer nowadays, aren't you? As well, you are. I suppose you play all platforms though, apart from I bet Nintendo Switch. You don't play.
I have one sitting right beside me. I've got one. It was kind of bought for the kids, but it sits beside me now. I've played through Fire Emblem on it, and not much else. I portray that I hate Nintendo. I don't hate Nintendo, but I'm not a portable gamer. I don't play on a small screen out and about, so the Switch doesn't offer me very much. But it is what it is.
Fair enough. It is fair enough. I mean, I've heard you a couple of times on Go Live podcast, and whenever you're very neutral. You enjoy all platforms, but whenever you do talk about the Switch, it just looks like it's painful for you to talk about.
No, I do like. I get caught up on the way that Nintendo never reduced their prices on games, so I like to have a little bicker about that. But everybody should. If any of these companies are doing anything you don't like, then voice it. You know. So I don't want to pay 60 or 80 quid for Breath of the Wild. It's years old. Let me play it cheaper.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's the only console you could say if you bought a first party game that you probably could get nearly the price you paid for it if you got some mug to buy off you. You could second hand. You could but yeah, I'd imagine if you sold it back to the shop, they'd just whack it back in at the same price it was released at pre-owned.
They would, yeah.
You know,
which is down for both Nintendo and the second-hand market.
they might knock £1 off to say it's pre-owned. You never know. They might. But yeah, you're quite in nowadays. I mean, I've been on your personal channel. You're quite into VR. It seems.
I'm very much into VR. Yes. Yeah, I was running around. I've got a lot of silly stuff. I was running around on a treadmill with VR, playing Skyrim a few hours ago.
That's the one I recently watched. I watched where I think you posted one 3 weeks ago. I watched that one, and that's quite fun. But on a treadmill, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's an expensive bit of gear, and it's definitely not for everyone. But when it works well, it's just adds another layer of being there. You don't need to push a stick to move anymore. You run, you burn the calves out. So I've been doing a bit of that, and it is funny.
Exactly. I mean, when I was like a kid in that, I mean, I suppose when you were the same, I mean, they always touted VR was going to be the future, and I don't think we're quite there yet, are we?
It's been the sci-fi dream forever, and like I say, I adore it in its current form, but I totally understand why it's not for everyone at the moment. So I'm not one of these people who's like, I like it, therefore everybody else should like it, or they're wrong.
I agree.
I get it, I understand.
I was on a holiday in Spain, and there was like this big, it's like we stayed at this place. Obviously, got kids in that. It's like a castle, and they had like it's not a castle, but you need that kind of theme, Knights theme. And had this big room with PlayStations and Xboxes in, and the PlayStation VR it was. And I had to go. I said, "Can I have a go?" So I did. So they made you sit down. You had to sit down because you're all wired up. And I tried Drive Club, and it's even my eyes are shockingly crap and need eye testing. But I struggled to play VR, the VR Drive Club. That's probably because it's such a. And this was only like 3 years ago. It's probably because that was a very dated game. It looked really bad, or it was my eyesight. It was one of the two.
It's going to be a combination of both. So I've not played Drive Club, but I do remember hearing that it was particularly blurry. Like even by the PSVR standards, it was particularly blurry.
Blurry. That's what I had. I thought I was. It may not have been my eyesight. It may have been as well. But I do want to try the proper. I would like to try if we can ever, at some point, afford the old Oculus headsets. If I ever get a PC at some point, I do plan to try and get one. It has. I read that there was a book, audio book, on how Oculus. I don't know if you've seen it. The future of basically the guy that invented Oculus before he went into it. Yes, that's it, and it's very interesting because he was totally against selling it to the likes of Facebook, but in the end, he said that he basically explained it that to get VR to where it is, it has to be bought by billionaires to the amount of money you need to invest into it. That they're the only people that are going to get it that far.
Yeah, I mean
it costs a lot to invest, doesn't it? A lot of research and time and all that in the end. But it's quite an interesting one. Have you read that one or listened to the audio book?
I've not listened to that one, but it's easy to agree on the point.
Yeah, I'll find it and see if I'll send it to you, or let you know which one it is. It's quite interesting. It goes back from when he first started. Everyone thought he was a crazy guy to when he sold it. It's quite interesting. It is, but I do think VR will one day. I wouldn't say it may one day. Do you ever think that VR will get to the point where it is mass market and everyone's doing it? Do you think it will get there?
I have a couple of angles on that. One, it's not close to being that now, but technology is improving, so it can get there. But two is I don't need it to be. So for me, VR compared to flat screen, I call them pancake games, it's a completely different game at the moment, and they can both coexist just fine. I play both. I still play on screen sometimes, but there is nothing like being in the game instead. It's gaming on a different level. But convenience, even if you solve the challenges with moving around in those worlds and the challenges with having wires around, it's never going to be as approachable as sitting in a chair, sticking a TV on. So I think both are going to be fine. I don't think everybody is all of a sudden going to be in VR at the same time, but it's hopefully got a future so long as the games keep coming.
Okay. I just thought I'd get your take because I've got no experience. As you can tell, that my experience was terrible, you see. So
this is the thing that works against it. So your experience being PlayStation VR has some significant drawbacks that VR doesn't have anymore. And a lot of people's first experience was Gear VR, putting their phone in a little plastic cradle and sticking it to their face. So a lot of people lost interest in VR through having that bad first experience, which is a shame. But
do you remember when you were? I don't know if when you were a kid. I went to somewhere once, and you put them fake glasses on where you look at a roller coaster and the seat, and that was meant to be VR. Do you remember? Do you remember that kind of stuff?
No, I'm way too young. Way too young. Yeah, of course I do.
Because I'm only 30. I'm 37. You can't be much older than me or younger.
Not much older. No, not much older.
No, not much older. Okay. But no, yeah. So what would you say? Have you got a favourite gaming memory that you can think of?
Not that makes for any kind of interesting story, really. No, I wouldn't say there is a single, a lot of the best stories that people tell about gaming are where it gets social. They usually involve connecting with other people, and like that's kind of the interest value of the story for most people. And this happened. I did this with that person. I beat that competitive environment. So I've not really got any good like networking stories around gaming. Obviously, I've always played it with people. I've always had, like I said, when I was a kid, I used to go to friends' houses to play the games, swap the consoles, and things like that. And that went through all through my teenage years, still playing socially with other people, but singular memory, not really. What about you?
Okay. My favourite memories are like, I could always point back to when I used to be a really, although I talk about Gears of War all the time, I used to be really big into Call of Duty with my mates on the Xbox 360 and playing like Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops and Black Ops 3 and that. And we made a clan called, we were younger, we were super, we had a clan called FUDV. So FU, you can imagine, fuck you. And then the studio head at the time was his name, but we were immature then, you know, because we had a clan, but whenever people would ask what it meant, we wouldn't tell them, obviously. But it was just a bit of fun. It was just Call of Duty. It was.
And now you're feeling confident that you're not going to get that retroactive ban, never be allowed to play Call of Duty again.
I don't play Call of Duty anyway. I stopped playing. I used to buy it religiously. Like, I used to be stuck in this cycle where I used to buy it every year. And my missus would moan. She's like, you fucking buy that game every year and you play it for about 3 times and you just moan it's shit and they're just camping. You don't play it again. And it's right. And after World War II? Was it last few years ago? It was World War II. World War III.
That was World War II was the one that came out at the launch of the 360.
No, there was another one. I'm thinking of another World War II game they made. I can't.
I'm sure they visited many things. The last one that I played was the one that came out on the 360. But
yeah, I can't think of the actual name, but it was one of them, and it was set in World War II, but it wasn't at launch of 360. And that was the last one I played. It was by Infinity Ward, I think. And I can't remember the bloody name of it offhand. And
you can remember that player that was camping and killed you.
Oh, it used to be really bad back then. The kids now, I'm sorry to tell you, the kids nowadays wouldn't be able to take the crap we took in lobbies and stuff back then. Everyone used to go in the lobbies and used to hear every name under the sun. But that's all that kind of talk is banned now. It would get you banned, wouldn't it? The amount of rules they've got on Xbox Live and PlayStation and all that.
You can only make things better.
It is, yes. But it was crazy that them days. It was. But yes. Very funny, VJ. What was the last game I completed? It was the Gunk. It was. So when did you initially get into content creating, or was Game On Daily your first venture into it, or did you try and make like videos first? And was it like, or was it podcasting or anything like that? Was it?
All of that's been an accident, to be honest. So before Game On Daily was the aggregate platform that it is now, I did like a little bit of writing for it when it was just a website. We set it up at great expense of money and effort to be what it is now. And this is the platform, so GameOnDaily.com, with the news aggregation element and content creation side there. And it was kind of by necessity that the YouTube channel followed. So I'm like fairly introverted, well, pretty extremely introverted. I would never do this kind of thing by like my own will or desire. I just kind of fell into it because we needed a presence elsewhere. So we started doing the podcast and some video series and things like that. And then over the last couple of years, like our shows have got better. Ghost McGonad Silas says I was dread kicking and streaming, which is fairly true. But I do enjoy it when I'm doing it. So I hate the moment of releasing content. I hate the idea of people seeing the content that I make. Like I get real weird feelings when I've made something. But the process of making it, I do enjoy that.
So obviously that kicks in line. Gaz, how did you
It's the
two?
opposite. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Gaz is like you're like super like how should you say logical, methodical thinking, and Gaz is the complete opposite of what you are. He's a great guy. He is. Were you two friends? Is that how did you get together to do Game On Daily?
We're definitely not friends. I can't stand the guy. That's not true, by the way. But no, I didn't know him before it. So
Oh, didn't you?
he
Oh,
had
okay.
no. When I say that Game On Daily was a website before it is what it is now,
Yeah.
that was his website, and he invited me to write for it. Was how I got to know Gaz in the first place. He said
okay.
he was busy on the social media platforms of the time, doing his Xbox arguing against PlayStation people, and he wanted someone to do a review for Drive Club actually. And he asked me to do that because I had played it and I was involved in some conversations where people were comparing that with Forza Horizon. So he said, "Can you write a review for Drive Club for our website?" And I said, "Sure." And in the same response, gave him like a 3-page review for it. That website carried on like that for a couple of years. That was just a little thing on the side. So we were both like working our full-time jobs and just writing occasionally for fun. And then he was like, seriously thinking about setting up a new platform. Would I be interested in getting involved with that? And that's when it's like, yeah, bit his hand off and designed things from there and made it what it is now and what it's getting to be.
Okay. I just wondered that story. I thought that's a good, yeah. Because I always had the impression that you two were friends beforehand, and obviously I was completely wrong. I was.
It's like I hadn't met him until we were setting up as like the business that we've got now. So I knew him online, but I hadn't actually met him until that point. So it's not like a school friend, like childhood thing or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's. I think it's a good dynamic you two have. Because I love it sometimes. It's just so funny on Go Live sometimes. Just, you'd be sitting there. I can't think of something offhand, but you'll be sitting there, Gaz will be talking, and you'll just come out of a little sentence and destroy Gaz just like that. It'd be funny.
It's true though. We're like, in a lot of ways, we couldn't be more opposite, but we're also both like very accommodating of each other as well. Like, so it just works as a dynamic, which is fortunate.
It does work because I've been meaning to get you on for ages. Because if you remember, I was messaging you a long time ago about coming on the show, and as a lot of people know, I'm absolutely useless at actually getting people on my podcasts. I am.
Difficult job. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, since now, what was obviously I presume Gaz done a lot of this as well. What was the process like of because on the GameOnDaily.com not website, the YouTube channel, was it? Because I haven't totally looked back because I used to watch the podcast. I watch it weekly now on the Spotify. I say watch it. I listen to it. I do. What was it like setting up a podcast? Because it sounds like that wouldn't be something you would be into because of the way you are, as in because you guys go on screen, don't you? Did you always go on screen, or was it just like this? Was all logos to start with?
We definitely didn't always go on screen, and so our first kind of crack at podcasting. Some of the early shows are probably still kicking around in the depths of the YouTube channel. Some of them we did remove because the quality was not good.
Okay.
No, I mean we started like everybody else does, figuring it out as we went along. We were fortunate that the community, particularly around the like Xbox content creators, are quite generous with their time. So we were able to get interesting people on the show fairly quickly. And we've built the look and feel and quality of it through stubbornness and persistence over time, basically.
Well, it's definitely working for you. It's a high quality show. It is. You get a variety of guests on from anyone from Colt Eastwood, King David, BitCloud Gaming, all sorts of people. I tell you, one guy I do like. He's part of your crew, Hargeet. I think he's awesome. He does. He is. He seems a good guy. He's not on social media though, is he? He ain't.
Which is probably like for the best for everyone. Social media is a blessing and a curse. So yeah, it's a curse that he's free from.
It is because it makes a lot of people depressed. All these fanboys bickering on Twitter. Gives Gaz content though. It does. For his source videos. Did the source videos lead without? How the channel was growing. Now, was a lot of this due to the podcasts, or was this due to content made on the channel, or did it blow up a bit more when Gaz started this source series, which is, if anyone doesn't know, it's not a series. But some people in the past have taken it as a serious video. It's just comedy. It is. Did that help the channel grow, or was it a mixture of all the content?
There's a couple of points that were fairly significant in the channel's growth. So the first one was a video that Gaz did right around the time that Xbox announced that they were acquiring ZeniMax. And about a day before that happened, Gaz did a video about Phil Spencer. And the YouTube algorithm loved it. So primarily the YouTube channel was like kind of fortunately timed boom was around that video, and that's it. And that's, I don't know, like 300,000 views now or something. It's still got people watching it. YouTube just likes that video. Considering our channel was nothing at the time, it was a surprise. So that's the video that, I was just in there. The first video that blew up was the love letter to Phil Spencer. Yeah,
I've seen it. I'm sure I have.
Yeah, I mean the podcast has definitely been slow and steady, but pretty consistent in growth. Apart from a couple of weeks where we had a massive, not in the way that they're doing Ukraine, but we had a Russian invasion and we had like 27,000 people turned up. That was strange times. But it's got settled back to normal.
So was that, how you say, was that like actual Russian people coming in your chat, or do you think that was like a viewbot thing?
We had a Russian audience that
really
flooded the channel for a couple of weeks. It was
okay.
Unusual times. I don't know how it happened. They seemed to be under the impression that we were like the official Xbox channel. Some of them stuck around for the next week. But besides that, ignoring that weird anomaly of a spike in the middle,
I bet your moderator found that hard in chat because they wouldn't have known what they were saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, it sounds good, that does. Just reading the chat. I am about the messages having to Google Translate what they meant.
Yeah, and it's obviously like it would be a lot more awkward if it happened now, but back then this was like a year ago, so.
Well, yeah, it would be, yeah. But no, yeah, it's quite interesting. That is the Gaz video with Phil Spencer helped as well. But so do you know because as I put my podcast onto podcast feeds as well, do you do all right on the podcast feeds? Or is YouTube the main source of the podcast viewers, or do you do all right on the podcast feed? You don't have to reveal your numbers, but do you do all right on the?
We've never made much of a push onto it. It was more of we use Anchor to push the podcast around, and we've never
the same.
Yeah, we've never really pushed it much besides the occasional, like it's up there now, message on Twitter. It's definitely less followed than it is on YouTube, but it is building. It's building very naturally just from, I don't even know how, to be honest. It's hard to claim responsibility for it. All we do is stick it on there every week. It's got a reasonable, regular audience that like to listen. So
I'm one of them. Because I think it's quite good that a lot of the podcasts, you know how in America they have a lot of data caps, don't they? I mean, I don't have a data cap, but for a lot of people, like say in America, that they have quite big small data caps. So downloading, a little podcast is easier than trying to stream a podcast. It is.
Yeah, and a lot of people just don't want to give it their full attention. You just want to listen to something while you're doing your chores or whatever else is going on. So playing your games.
Exactly, you're right. You are. It's a good way. A lot of the podcasts in the community are starting to put them onto podcast feeds. Not all of them, but a good majority are. It's quite good. So Game On Daily, the website. What's it like running that kind of? Obviously, I'd imagine that it's quite costly with running a website. Because I used to be involved with BG4GHub.com. I used to be part of that crew, but I was never part of the financial side. But I know that it's quite costly to do that kind of thing. It is. So, what's like the day-to-day running of a gaming website? And
so
when you and Gaz was starting this, Game On Daily platform, when he suggested you want to get in on it, was that quite a learning curve, or did Gaz or people know exactly what they were doing?
Gaz never knows what he's doing. What's that all about?
It's probably you. It's probably learned it all.
Yeah, it definitely is challenging, and it definitely is expensive. So the platform is so before all of this, I worked as a solutions architect. So designing the functionality and way that things work was largely me, but we use a development house to actually build it. And it has been massively challenging. So the platform that's out there now, we're very happy with it in the way that it works, but it's about half of what it was supposed to be at launch. There's a lot missing. And we have massive plans going forward. So there's an awful lot that we want to add to it. And just getting that there is a massive challenge even before you start considering the day-by-day actually running it. And I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, we put an update on there, a game directory. So just another way for people to find and consume news if they're particular, like if they're interested in a particular game or title. And through various constraints, we had big plans to automate a lot of it, but financial and time constraints meant that actually it's just going to be a massive amount of manual work for me. So day by day, I have an awful lot to do on it at the moment, and I don't begrudge that because it's what I want to do and I enjoy it. But
yeah, okay. This is stuff like approving posts, stuff like that.
There's approving posts and things. Like I say, every game we're trying to set up, it's not a full archive of like the 300,000 games that have been out through history, but it's games that are getting news still. As that news comes in, if we haven't already got a hub set up for that game, then I'm there finding the details, the release dates, the platforms, the artwork, the trailers and things like that, getting them all set up so that, because I find a lot of people that play games, you've got these circles that are likely the people that are here right now, so people watching podcasts and chats and things that play loads and loads of games. But there's a massive audience that don't play games like that. They have their favorite and they stick to it. And our website, our platform was not really that well suited to that kind of person that doesn't really care about the current news. They want to see what's going on with their favorite game. So the game directory is like important for providing something for that audience and those content creators.
So yeah, it's a really good feature. I mean, I'd imagine it's time consuming because imagine you're adding games to the directory as and when you can, because there's a lot to add in there.
There is a lot to add, along with making videos on the side and all the rest of it. So it's busy times. But
I'd imagine so. So with that, I mean, obviously you've got editing of people like Muppets like me that put my podcast on. I probably get the thumbnail wrong. I imagine that's happened a couple of times. Because you messaged me once, didn't you, saying you've done it wrong again.
No, not again. There was no again. One time, that's all we needed. But it goes smooth.
But no, with Game On Daily, I was about to say, do you have what's it called? Asset. Sorry about that. SEO. Have you hit this sweet spot with SEO? Because to get the Game On Daily coming up in Google, because I know SEO is quite a difficult area. It is. It's not easy.
It's a constant nightmare, SEO, because I mean, for people listening that may or may not know, so search engine optimization, it's playing a game with Google and other search engines to make sure that when people search for anything related to games, your platform or website ranks high in that list. And it is a complicated game that has steep punishments when things go wrong. So I would say we're not in a particularly good place for SEO at the moment. We had a migration quite a few months ago from one server stack to another that caused the site was down for a night basically, and Google has not forgiven us.
Really? It's a bit harsh, isn't it?
It's a slow climb back. So again, I mean, you've got a channel here that you try and get attention for and you try and grow, and it's really difficult. It's like a big part of the reason that Game On Daily exists is to help people with that, to give them another way to reach people and connect with people. But we do need to be a certain size ourselves to make that work. So we're going through the same struggle that we're trying to help everybody else with.
No, I just thought I'd ask because SEO was a nightmare unless your name's IGN and they just suck it all up. The big boys. So what kind of things apart from the game directory, or don't you want to reveal? Do you have any big plans for the future of Game On Daily? You don't have to reveal. I know you've probably got plans. You don't have to reveal anything.
We definitely have big plans. I'll give you the light overview. There's I'm quite arrogant and our ideas are quite good, so I'm not too worried about the broad concepts going out because I'm sure that we can execute and have a platform. Plus, I know the challenges that we've been through to get it to where it is right now, so I'm not too worried about trade secrets or anything like that.
Okay.
We have the big component that's missing that was supposed to be there at launch is more of a social media element to it. So we've got opportunities for people to talk and things in comments on all the articles and stuff like that. But there's supposed to be a more thorough social experience on there. That isn't coming that soon, but we would like it to. Again, massive. I'm only doing VR games this way. No way, and I've got lots going on. But yeah, good to see you anyway. There's massive challenges getting that there, but we also, a lot of people are preferring to consume video content and streaming and things like that. So that's before you even start touching on esports as a growth area. So there's a lot that we want for the platform, but it's going to be difficult to reach. It just is. That's just the reality of it. So.
Well, I can imagine because it's a big project, being as though you've not got, thousands to be doing it all the time, because I imagine the channel's not, apart from your YouTube memberships and super chats, etc. You're not actually, the Game On Daily website's not actually monetized, is it?
Not really. No.
I don't think you make a lot of ad revenue unless you get like thousands of hits a day.
No, you're not
on
wrong.
Websites. I could be wrong. I don't know.
You're definitely not wrong.
So I imagine that will be quite difficult. I suppose it's a bit slow process, but you're doing a good job so far. You are, because getting people. You are right, because people like to consume video some people rather watch videos than reading. But I have heard though, of a few people that website articles do actually get a lot of hits.
They can, yeah, I don't know. Like I say, SEO has been painful for us, so less than it was before. But like I say, people like their videos and their live streams, but you only need to look at platforms like Twitter, Recetera, and all the rest of them. People do read. People have their habitual go-to written content, whether it's leading them to other things or whatever else. Yeah, there are lots of different ways that people are consuming content.
Yeah, no, that's true. So, do you? I know it's an aggregation platform, but do you have plans to have try and get more people in? Because obviously, is the idea that like most websites, say you got Season Gaming and other websites like that, they've got their writers. Is the idea the way Game On Daily is set up is so? Obviously, I advertise my podcast on there as well. You can do it like that. Is it so that if you wanted to just fancy writing an article, you could just through Game On Daily without having to be, like go to you and say, I really want to write for Game On Daily weekly. Rather, you could just
it's funny you should say that,
something
actually.
up. Yeah.
We get like 10 emails a day from people asking to put sponsored posts on there saying, oh, we really love your like reviews and stuff. These people clearly haven't ever been to our platform because there's a button in the top right that lets anybody create content natively on the site. So, I mean, we say the platform is for content creators to find an audience, right? And that can be people like Seasoned Gaming that already have a website. They can take their content, put it there and try and connect with an audience. And we're very, very careful, having from the start to do that in a way that's not us leeching off of those content creators. So we'll never take like their whole article and put it on our website or anything like that. It's very much geared to help them find people rather than help them help us, because we're not like that. But you can also, if you don't write for a website or anything like that, you just click a button on the top and there's tools on there to go right in and create an article natively on Game On Daily and share that wherever you want. So yeah, and that's not the same as us. It's not Game On Daily content per se, which is another thing we could do. That's a delicate line for us to walk, because we need to make sure that we're not encroaching on other content creators, as it were. So we can
you mean,
give content that's interesting.
So do you mean as in such, say, like the way I use Season Gaming because I go on it a lot. So say like because you're in aggregation, so it wouldn't actually be fair to you to go and get a load of writers and write loads of content, and then the other websites wouldn't really be able. Do you see what I mean?
Content that really overlaps. So the particular example that I would give is like reviews for games. It's fairly simple content. We could go and review games, but then we've got an aggregation platform collecting reviews from around the industry and then saying, but here's what we think, like we're more important. It's just it's a delicate line to walk, because like I say, our mandate is to be good to the people that are creating this content. So I don't want to step on toes there.
No, it totally makes sense, because you are very different from the other websites out there. Like you're very different from IGN, Season Gaming, Iron Lords. You're very different because you're more of an aggregation site. Because there was a really big one, weren't there? That was like an aggregation site. Is it?
There's a couple of others around. N4G is one. Yeah,
I've never used it. I haven't before.
Yeah, keep it that way. And I'm not. Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy for them to thrive as well. That's fine. But they are. Yeah, it's another aggregation platform. There's a couple of others. There's I've forgotten the name of it. There's one with a really short name, like Link something or other. I don't know, but there are others. Ours is the best one. Yeah.
It's the only one I've seen. You see, I don't bother. For aggregation ones, I use Game On Daily. I do, because I tried it once. That big one, I didn't really like it. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so with Game On Daily, and so how do you find making videos yourself? Because I know Gaza seems to have got the knack of making these source videos, and it looks like with Gaz's videos, he spends days and weeks probably making some of them videos. He does. So your videos are more different with VR. I mean, because I see you on that treadmill with your VR. I don't know how you record that, because you can see you in it, but you can also see you with a VR headset on the treadmill thing. How do you do that? Is that kind of cameras or?
Yeah, I have a massively complicated setup. Massively complicated. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screens at the moment.
Wow, 6 screens.
Got lights and cameras everywhere. I've got multiple cameras. So, and this isn't like some kind of weird brag. This is just like, it's a complicated setup for the sake of creating content. So the VR ones, I have 2 cameras pointing at that thing, and I am using just normal streaming software to capture the game as well.
Okay.
And I record it in multiple places. So on a live stream, you get a camera feed of me and you get the game. But I'm also recording those things separately so that I can put them together in content afterwards. The VR stuff that's actually fairly, in terms of making content, that's fairly new ground. I haven't done that much VR content yet. Most of the equipment that I have was centered around, like I did the tech analysis videos, so looking at technology and sometimes comparing, but I'm less of a fan of comparing, but looking at technology of games and things and capturing them in HDR. So the videos that I usually put on our main channel are very, very nice visual quality. Say nothing of the effort that goes into actually editing them and things like that, but just pure capture quality. I've got nice equipment to do that well.
Oh, so, knowing you, you've probably got some state-of-the-art beast PC rig, knowing you. I'd imagine.
That would be fair to say. Yeah, I have. And it's specifically for that purpose. So people ask like what I've got for the sake of playing games. And like, I've got nice stuff, but it's not for the sake of playing games. I've got nice stuff because I do complicated editing with it. And I like Gaz has, like you say, his Source series, and Gaz is a good video editor. So whether he's doing those videos or his more serious ones, he's got like a talent for the music and the shooting of it. I'm a clown. I've got no artistic sense whatsoever, so they're a bit harder for me. But we are very different. So my videos are usually from a very different angle to his, and the tech ones and things they can be fun to make.
Yeah, I mean that's good because it's because a lot of people, because I noticed with Gaz's videos, it's like obviously the Source is pure comedy, and some people take it too seriously. They think, oh, this is, but it's just comedy. That is, it's then he will make a completely serious video like about a topic, not totally serious. You know how Gaz is. But yes, he does make good content, but also you do. Your channel, is it something you want to, with your personal channel, is it something you want to expand? So you want to get loads of subs like GAMEONDAILY, or is it just is it more of a passion project if you for a bit of fun? Or is it,
I mean, it would be nice. It would be nice to have subscribers on there, but it's just different kinds of content. Not everything is like made for the main channel, and if you diversify, if you put all kinds of different stuff on the main channel, YouTube won't necessarily like it. So it's kind of a safe place for me to experiment and do other kinds of content that might not do so well on the main channel. And that's not to say that the content on my channel is like terrible quality or anything like that. I still put some effort into it, but it's just a different place.
Well, I suppose if you change it, it's probably got something to do with if you were to put your content on, because it's slightly different. Is it something to do with like the algorithm of the GAMEONDAILY content?
Yeah. There's a balancing act and a tightrope. So if you put content that your audience isn't interested in, so if I put a load of VR content onto the main channel where most people are there to get Xbox news, for example, then all of those people that are being shown this VR video are unlikely to click on it, and then they'll stop being shown things from the channel. So it's just possibly a bit overcautious on my part. Because I don't have an in-depth understanding of how YouTube is handling this content, but I don't want to drag down content that's doing well by putting things that are different. And my content can be quite different in that sense. And like say, I like VR and all the rest of it. So
no, that's fair enough. I mean, the YouTube algorithm is a mystery.
Complicated beast, yeah.
Even to people that make a living out of it, it's a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've heard people talk about it. I have that make it. It's one of them the mysteries of the world, the algorithm. They reckon it keeps changing. You'll hit it, then it will just change. It will. You can have a spike, but you need that one spike to blow up a little bit, and then you can keep going. But it's
and like I said, in my ideal world, of course my channel will grow as well. I still consider it a GAMEONDAILY channel. It's not like I'm keeping it separate and trying to spin off on my own. It's just a different place for content.
No, that's fair enough. That is. It's have you learned much like with your channel? Do you and GAMEONDAILY with the thumbnails? Have you learned to make thumbnails, or just Gaz make all the thumbnails?
We have a design friend that is like very well learned in visual things that I don't understand. In terms of learning though, like before going into this, I was a solutions architect working very much on boring server side things that drove me insane and led a life that I really didn't enjoy. Everything in terms of the podcasts and the videos and the website has all been a learning experience. I knew nothing. I'd never never used Premiere or DaVinci or any of the bits of software that you use for editing. And yeah, that's been up and down. Like, challenges come along and frustrate the hell out of you, and then you solve it and feel great for a little while, and then another one comes along, and I expect that's how it's going to continue.
Oh, I can imagine. It's very much a learning process. I mean, you seem to be doing well with it, much better than me. You're more consistent.
I'm not doing a good job of settling onto a routine. Every time I kind of get a workflow sorted, I'm like, nah, but now I want to try something new. And I'm making something at the moment that's very different to anything I've done before. And it's taking a while. But I'm quite looking forward to it. I can't tell you too much about it. It's not ready.
No, don't.
Very different kind of video.
No, it sounds good. It does. It seems to all be going well for that. How would you like? I asked you about the website. How would you like the YouTube channel to go? Would you just to keep growing, or have you guys got anything planned in the future that you want to? You don't have to reveal, obviously. Would you just like to keep growing steadily?
That's all right. Yeah, like I say, for me, I never envisaged YouTube being a big part of it for us. I was there for the platform, and YouTube was a necessity that came out of it. Where we are now, YouTube is pretty much like it's a crutch that we need to support what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
But it is also fun. So for us, like, yeah, we like desperately need it to grow. We need everything to grow because it is expensive to run the platform and keep it all going. And like just putting content on the YouTube channel, getting these thumbnails and all the rest of it is a cost in itself. So yes, definitely do want and need everything to keep the upward trend, but that's just nature of the beast.
Oh, it is. It's definitely it's very much helped Game On Daily boost numbers, I'd imagine, because it's a YouTube presence is quite a big thing now. A lot of the websites have a big presence, like the Iron Lord. Season Gaming's got over 10,000 subs now, like yourselves. They have a lot of websites, channels, independent guys the YouTube channels are now also growing, which is good. It is. So with if you were to say, have any advice for anybody that would like to get into, say, making their own YouTube channel, podcasting, or you'd probably say even be stupid enough to try and make a website, would you have any advice for them? What would you say?
Do it. Like, that's the obvious one. Have a go. So in terms of videos and content and all the rest of it like that, the advice that was most useful to me probably is that done is better than perfect. So if you're trying to make content, try and make some content. If you get stuck on trying to make that content perfect, you'll probably never release anything. So done is better than perfect. Have a go at it. See what works for you. Enjoy it. Don't quit your day job and say, I'm going to be a famous YouTuber, because it is hard. But yeah, dip your toes and have some fun and put some content out.
Yeah, no, that is very, very good words of advice there, because I make a video and then I say in the video, I'm going to make a video each week. And then what happens is I don't make one for a month or something. Yeah, you are right. It's because I've got this thing about trying to make it perfect. So then it doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I say it's useful advice. I don't really practice what I preach. I'm taking like freaking ages on everything. So, but I know that it's good advice, and I know how much it would help me if I followed it. So, anybody going into it, that's my advice. Do what I need to do. Get things done.
It's true. It's good advice. It is. I'm still, a lot of mine is I've not got a very good computer, but hopefully this year I'll be able to get a PC and sort that problem out. But yes, it's great advice to anyone who wants to get into podcasting. There he is. Gaz has appeared.
No,
Hi,
Gaz. He hasn't. There he is.
There he's appeared.
We haven't talked about you at all, Gaz. Not at all.
But no, that's thanks for coming on the It's been a good chat, Asa. I don't want to take much more of your time up, but yeah, it's been an interesting chat about Game On Daily and your gaming history. Thanks for coming on, Asa. I was looking at Gaz's name in the chat there when I said that. Thanks for coming on, Asa. Do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, we've got obviously the YouTube channel you can click on right from here. So that's Game On Daily, where we have our show every Saturday. There is also a little something coming on Tuesday soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and video content there. Obviously, GameOnDaily.com, the platform that we've been talking about through this. Please do take a look, sign up. The platform does pretty much require you to be signed in to get the best out of it. And that's not us harvesting your data and doing sinister things. That's just because it is all centered around community. So you make some friends on there and your content and feed will be tailored according to that. So please do check out Game On Daily. Register on there, bring your friends, and make that platform sing in the way that it needs to. That's what we'd love to see. And obviously, you touched on my channel. So I stream on Twitch fairly frequently. At the moment, I'm just doing the Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 2 VR streams and 1 pancake stream. It's Acer_GameOnDaily. And you can find me on that name on Twitter and YouTube as well.
Thanks for coming on, Asa. I've put some of them.
Appreciate the invite. It took a little while for us to get it together, but it's been a good chat.
My fault. That is my fault. But we got there in the end, and one day I will get Gaz on. I will as well. So the other co-founder of Game On Daily.
Get the other side of the story.
Yes, the saucy side. But yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm sure a lot of people have learned something out of that. But yeah, thanks for coming on today. And if you enjoyed this show, please drop a like, subscribe. And if you're on Spotify, please drop a 5-star review, or Apple Podcasts, 5-star review. It helps the algorithm. And STUBZCAST should be back soon. I'll post it out. But yeah, thanks, Asa. It's been a good conversation. And thanks to everyone that's joined live. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you all soon. Thanks, Asa.
Thank you.